times 10 quid by 1,000, mate, and you've got... Yeah, well, a lot, a very lot. 10,000 quid. How much? 10,000 quid. I know, Dave, I mean, it's worth a thought, though, isn't it? Oh, I just see little and large prancing around Sheffield with the widgets hanging out. Now, that would be worth 10 quid. Don't be so daft. We were just saying, widgets on parade, bring your own microscope. I don't see why the chuff not, Gerald. Because you're fat and he's thick and you're all fucking ugly. What's all this about soul custody? You want joint custody, then you can pay 700 quid. I'm not doing, in case you haven't noticed. Well, yeah, Joe. How dear, Joe. A £2.50 an hour in Blackall a fucking Calcutta? No, thank you. Fine, whatever. If you want to go off and play games, Gary, then you can do that, but from now on, Nathan's going to have 2 parents. Oh, yeah, and your bloody living lover's going to do that, is he? Oh, well, the kids happy. Here he is. Evening, Barry. That'll be for Clark to decide. What? Nathan's yours and he's mine and he's fuck off. You've never given a toss. Face it, Gary. You don't even like staying at yours. Of course he bloody does. Ask him. Ask him. Oh, Nate. We've a laugh, don't we, kid? Nate, don't. Is he in? Is he in? Nate. Well, he can't hear you through your triple bloody glazing. I can hear. This is all wrong, Mrs. Salt a fucking cock. I'm his dad. You're nobody. Good night, Karen.
I'm watching Full Monty. Dun, 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 dun.
Night, Nate. See you, kid.
I'm watching Full Monty. Para.
No, not doing it. I'm not stripping. They're taking him away. All I need is 700 quid and they get that on me. Yes, no. Dave, he's my kid.
You're waiting for Monty?
Yes, I am watching Full Monty. Have you watched that movie? Oh yeah, you watched it when you were a minor. That's right, I forgot. My memory is really bad.
Your memory's excellent. How are you feeling?
I'm doing fine, thank you. Oh my God, Church is here as well. Yeah, I've been thinking, and yeah, I'm sorry, Kimber, KK, but yeah, the business is going slow. I mean, this capitalism is destroying me. And yeah, the sales, the customers are not coming back, and this is complicated. I will have to. I don't know. Do you have a LinkedIn profile? Because I cannot keep affording your salary, Kimberly. You're the best host ever, but it's complicated.
Wow, I've been waiting on my paycheck forever.
Oh man, don't worry. You are on. I mean, you will get it. You will get it. Kimberly will take care of everything. If I disappear and change my name, go after me. But why would I do that?
Why indeed?
How are you guys? How's
Why
everything?
indeed?
How are you guys? How have you been?
Good, good. How about yourself? How have you been?
Yeah, good, good. Disconnected for a couple of days. I had to take care of certain personal stuff, but here I am back for good.
It's good to
Once
charge
you're
the
back,
batteries every once in a while.
good.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
absolutely, absolutely. Life is much more than just spaces.
Everyone's life is different.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Well, everyone's life is different. Every one of us is different. We all have beautiful things. We are all beautiful people, and yeah, we are all different. Of course, thank God we are different. I wouldn't like to have two Albertos out there.
Not even if the other one was like Alberto Balsam, which is that brand of shampoo conditioner that you get in the pound shop.
You know what? That sounds such as cheap as shampoo. Here we have one that is called Nacho Ignacio. That is a shampoo that, I mean, they try to sell it.
Nacho Ignacio.
Yeah, that sucks. I mean, who would buy a? I mean, no.
No, I'd buy that. You're telling me there's some kind of hair care range called Nacho Ignacio.
Yeah.
I'm there.
Oh my God, I can't believe it. Marketing is amazing. What marketing can do.
I'm just a very willing tool of those advertisers. I'm aware of this.
So, what did I miss in this day that I was away? Did I miss something interesting?
Which day are you referring to?
I don't know.
The today
I
day.
haven't connected since Friday. I think last time I connected was Friday or Saturday. That no, it was Saturday because Chase show up. Yeah, it was Saturday that I couldn't. Yeah, Azure was hosting a space, and yeah, Chase was there. It was Saturday, if I'm not wrong.
It was Saturday, and we were talking about how you left me hanging on Friday.
Oh man, yeah. Well, it was all about this problems with capitalism, and yeah, it's destroying me. I mean, yeah, capitalism is the disease that is killing. Yes, I understand, UK, what you mentioned about capitalism. Now I understand. I need money to support these spaces. I mean, yeah, the customers are not the same as before. They spend much less money here. They don't buy enough alcohol, so yeah, right now I'm cashing checks as a service here. So if you have a check that you want cash, you won't get cash because I won't give you cash, but I can accept your check and see what I can do. Yeah.
Well, thank you. I'll bear that in mind. Do people still write checks?
Well, actually, yeah, I'm watching Full Monty because I want to diversify and give people access to adult entertainment content. I think that unfortunately that's where money is. It's all about fucking capitalism. Yeah, let's give it a try. Maybe I can rescue these spaces with a little bit of adult entertainment.
Beers, girls, jackpot, cash checks, music, no 18-year-olds.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, I have to diversify. I mean, the customers are not coming back. I need to find new ways of finding income for these spaces. So far, I have watching the numbers, and the income, the profit this year have been zero. Yeah, I have to improve that.
You can do it.
Hi, Ali. How are you, Ali? Welcome. How are you, Sure?
Hi, you
Hi, Ali.
guys.
How's Jessie? How is Yuri?
Hi, Azu.
Oh, sorry.
Hello.
I say it's Yuri now. That's your fault, Alberto.
Alberto, you're alive. How's it going?
I'm doing fine, thank you. Yeah, I've been not around for. I was wondering since when, and I was wondering what day is today, and I realized it was last Saturday that I last connected to, and yeah, I had to solve some personal stuff, so I was disconnected. But so far, yeah, I've done it, so I am back. Yeah,
You're back with bells on? Have you ever heard that saying? Have you ever heard that saying in English?
No, what does it mean?
Campanas, campanitas means you're coming back with, you're bringing joy and happiness and a
And
No,
party.
castanets.
that's you. You
Nah,
bring joy and happiness.
ah, no, you do. We're all gathered around you. You're the center of the wheel. We all look for you, don't we?
Oh,
All of us. We
oh
look
no,
for you.
no, no! That's too much pressure. I cannot deal with so much
I
pressure.
have
Come
to
on.
Yes,
agree.
you
On Fridays, I
can.
specifically look for your place, your space.
Oh, yeah, and I have these
See?
complicated customers that expect too much from me, and I feel bad because, yeah, I mean, Fridays nights and chess were like something that was a classic. It was like an event everybody I was looking forward all week to. Okay, it's Friday, JC at night. Yeah, that was amazing. Yeah, and slowly that was disappearing, but we have to bring it back because we had a lot of fun.
Bring it back.
Bring it back, bring it back.
What happened in those
Do it.
spaces?
What happened in space? I don't
I would
know.
start talking and lose my train of thought and then go quiet.
Yeah, well, no, but the thing is that he was really, it was funny, but at the same time, it was very respectful and okay, yeah, I mean, it wasn't something that was inappropriate. It was.
It was not in the weird way. Everyone enjoyed themselves, I think. And that's why we should do it again. Do it this Friday. Do it every
In
Friday.
those nights, and the first time that I did that, I remember it was 7 p.m. and he had started speaking, and I thought to myself, okay, this guy is a pain in the ass. He won't stop speaking, but I don't think he will be up for more than an hour. He will fall asleep. Then it was like 7 a.m. and he was still up, and I was falling completely asleep. And I said, "What the hell, man?" Yeah, that was the first experience with Chasey and Friday night. I don't know how he did it, but my respects.
Hey, what's the title of this room?
Beers,
Beers,
girls,
girls,
jackpot, cash,
jackpot,
checks,
cash check.
Oh,
moving.
that's a new Mark. Yeah, that's a new business model for my spaces. Yeah, I'm watching Full Monty right now, and yeah, in order to create income from this, I'm offering beers, girls, also men. I'm watching Full Monty now to learn from the adult industry. Jackpot, cash. We check cash, music. Be back in 20 minutes. That's something that I can remove because I am here. Uh, so
So,
yeah,
so
what
you're
what
you're
what
watching
did
the full Monty to learn how to
yeah,
dance, are you?
I'm watching the full Monty. I posted a picture. I'm watching the full Monty because I've never done it, and yeah, it's a movie that it's amazing. Just the fact that I think the budget was $10,000 and the profits were like a million or millions of dollars, which is amazing. So yeah, I have to learn from these things that I mean I don't want to reinvent things that have already been made. So let's learn from these people that were able to do this thing, and the best part is that Kay knows part of the songs of Full Monty. It's
Yeah,
raining men, hallelujah.
Looking for some hot stuff, baby, this
baby, this
evening.
evening. That movie. I mean, women love to see men strut their stuff. Of course, we love that stuff.
But
Yeah.
as the co host, I feel some semblance of responsibility for you, Alberto. Now, I know very much that you want to feel the fear and do it anyway, but equally, I don't want this to be a situation that might make you feel exposed.
Oh, okay, why don't you tell about all the situation to Pierce and let's ask for his wisdom to see what he thinks about this new approach. Okay, I know that it's useless because the profits will be still zero, but anyway, just give it a try. Pierce.
What up?
I have. Oh,
Yeah,
how you
sorry,
doing, sir?
Chasey.
No, I was gonna ask about what I posted. I have a question for that, but Pierce just came up with speaker, so I wanted to say hi.
Yeah, hi Pierce.
What up?
Welcome to the new space. I don't know what you feel about the name of the space. I hope you feel comfortable. This is for adults only to have
I
fun in
do
a
have one
respectful
thing
way.
that's pissing me off about the title. You have
That
two spaces between beers and girls. If you could just erase one of the spaces, that'd be great.
okay, Kay. Yeah, you can make the modification. The
Done and
customer is
done.
always right. The customer is
I
always right.
request you erase girls.
Why
Right.
don't we add instead of the erasing
Uh,
girls, we add
I'm a fan
boys?
of commas. How about we add some commas? Because Beers, Girls, Jackpot, Cash, Checks, Music, no 18s, BB.
Yeah,
How about
Who
girls
is
we
only?
BB?
also play.
What is BB?
Yeah, and
Is
also
it be back?
I want to put blackjack also. I don't know what you think.
You
Blackjack
Yeah,
want
sounds
to
you're not
good
put
to me.
asking
black
me.
shackles?
Yeah, I was going. I
What
remember
about
also
black shackles?
always
Because that's
Pierce
what the
playing.
caption's suggesting.
Pierce
I'm not
always
going to
playing
rule it out.
pool for Pierce because Pierce always likes playing pool.
I do like playing pool, that's for sure. I rarely, well, I do win occasionally these days, but not as much as I used to. The title of the space, Beers, Girls, Jackpot, Cash, Checks, Music, something or other, BB, which I don't know what is. Beers, yeah, I think I'd remove the girls too. It's nothing but bloody trouble anyway, aren't they? Or
None of us will take the bait, Pierce.
Okay, we can remove
you
girls
know me too well.
to avoid any kind of yeah.
It's all right. I've taken care of it. There are now
Thank you.
not girls.
All right, Grant. There you go. You had the power, Kay. There are girls. There's
Can
still
I be
Beer's
the
girl.
Beers girl?
That's a
Yeah,
Beer's
I'm the Beers
girl.
girl. Who
Just the
wants
one
beer?
girl. Okay, that's
I have
easier.
file stuff.
Sounds like a busy life anyway. Whoever ends up in that place.
Oh, sexy baby. Oh, this is trying to. This is where I should start streaming, but I won't because
I believe in miracles.
I will get suspended because of violating intellectual right properties. You sexy baby.
And you.
Oh my God, these guys are making strip this. Oh, that's nice.
So, Beto, I have a question on the photo that I pinned up there on top that you shared.
Yeah.
It looks like you're in a mall, and to the left of the photo, there's a charging booth.
Hold on.
No, those are post office boxes.
Hold on. Because I don't see the. You mean on the nest? Because on the nest, I cannot see the
Yes,
nest.
in that picture from earlier, I asked you, did you get a delivery?
Oh
Because
yes, I
there's
did.
a sign.
I
But I
did.
don't think
Yes.
those are those deliveries or those are charging stations. Those look like lockable start
No,
charging
no, no,
stations in
no.
that mall.
Those are charging stations that, of course, never. I was sitting there waiting, and I was looking at people connecting their cellulars. I mean, for only 30 pesos, which is like 80 cents a dollar, you can have 30 minutes of recharging your cellular. And I was thinking, I should start offering that service for much less. I mean, that would be interesting. Yeah, now there were charging stations for all kind of cellulars. Yeah, they are not usual here, but that was the bus station of Montevideo. In those big places, you always get done in shopping centers as well, in hospitals also, and they are very cheap, and people use them.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the communal charging spots.
Me neither. Me neither. I mean, I wouldn't connect anything to myself if I'm not in control.
I mean, I carry a data blocker just in case if that were to ever happen where I need to connect to something that's hasn't been vetted. But yeah. So okay.
I don't know. Are they common in England, in Denmark,
We had
in
them
France?
in.
No, we don't have them here. I've never seen them.
We've
Mind you,
got.
I don't really go into the city that much anymore and wander around in places like that. So maybe they do,
They
but
have them at
They
every
definitely
bus
did
stop
in
in Paris
Nottingham,
now.
but
Free
they
things at
had
every
them
bus
in the
stop.
mall, the shopping centre, and I may even have used one before. Have I exposed myself to danger?
Well, there are times where, I mean, you are running out of battery and you don't have many options, unfortunately. Uh, Even though you might
well,
have
then you
to.
just let it run out, and you go, and when you go home, you connect it. And you spend a little while without having your telephone turned on. Not the end of the
I
world, is it?
understand that that is theoretically completely possible. However, in actuality, you may be waiting to receive an important phone call, a life saving phone call, even. And sometimes it's just a really, really big bummer that your phone has managed to just discharge itself again. And I blame Apple personally. Sorry, Apple.
100% on the Apple comment because they got caught doing the forced training on their end of life products, and so yep. But I have a question now for everyone in the room. I'll paint another situation. You have your phone runs out. You had a phone number for a friend you were meeting, so you're in a foreign place. You just arrived. Your phone is out of battery. You don't have your charger, and you don't know the address or phone number of this friend that you're meeting up with. um, do you guys have anything in paper or anything that you carry or uh, whatever?
Phone banks, like
Nope.
power banks.
Well, okay, cool. That was really looking for Pierce on this one because I could think of a million problems with the phone running out, but
I can think of a million problems where they don't. I mean, I just charge my phone before I leave home, and it has happened where it's run out and nobody died. Or, as I said to somebody once, that actually said that to me. Yeah, but if you turn your phone off, which I do multiple times every day, um, and what if somebody dies? I said, well, listen, I'm a fairly resourceful, intelligent fella. But I don't think I'll be able to bring them back to life. If I get to know it now or 2-3 hours from now. I mean, it's not. That's surmising. I mean, stuff like that doesn't happen just because your phone runs out. But I do suppose
You
if your
would
phone
be
ran out, it
surprised.
would. Oh wait, I beg your pardon, darling.
Just said you'd be surprised.
Well, yeah, I
There are
suppose if
some
and when.
critical instances where you
if and
kind of need your phone, but
Nah,
unfortunately,
nah.
despite having it
Listen,
plugged in
nah,
overnight, it
darling,
doesn't seem to have
darling,
charged
no. No,
adequately.
no, no. I grew up in a world where, for the first 30 odd years of my life, there were no mobile telephones or pocket computers, and we survived without all that. So don't
You when
worry about
when
it.
you say pocket computer, my brain instantly thinks calculator.
Really. Well, when
Yeah.
I left school, the first calculators came out, and we thought, wow, we were really blown away by these calculators that could do the mathematics for you. And you didn't have to figure things out in your own head. So yeah, that's the world I came from. So bugger. I mean, I quite often. This morning, I went fishing this morning, and I could have got some beautiful, beautiful pictures, and I forgot my phone. Left it at home, and I didn't catch any fish either. But I had a lovely couple of hours down by the river.
Do you think there's any link between you leaving your phone at home and not catching any fish?
No, I think that darling, I often leave home and forget my telephone, or I forget this, or I forget that, or I'm
Goodness,
doing
me
all the
too,
bloody
me
time.
too.
Hey, I beg your pardon?
I said, my goodness, me too, me too.
Well, and it's not, up to now, no one's died anyway. But some people I know have complained and said, "Oh, what, why'd you never pick up the phone?" And I said, "Well, you never pick up the bloody phone. Nobody picks up their phone if you call them these days." And some people even complain about, who the hell do people think they are calling up and whatnot? Why don't they just send a text message? They don't want to talk to you.
If I don't know anyone from the area the call is saying it's from, I'm not going to answer. If it's important, they will leave a message, and hopefully I will listen to the message, but I'm a bit scatterbrained.
Really?
Me too. I do the same. I do the same sometimes. Yep. Yep.
Well, I just turn my phone off. And I'm actually these days I do it just to really irritate some people. It's
That's
good fun.
mean.
Well, you gotta have a hobby.
Not a mean one. Can't you have a nice hobby like?
Well, I have some nice ones too. Fishing, although I suppose
Well, I don't
if you
know.
end up
It's nice
catching
little fish.
a poor little fishy there, and you smack it
Even
over the
if you
head and
throw them back,
gut it.
you've still spiked them through the face.
That's a bit of fun, isn't it? Bit of fun, especially the younger ones.
The younger
They're
fishers
just,
or the
I don't
young
know. I mean,
fishers.
this thing about mobile phones. I mean, when I was a taxi driver Friday, Saturday night, if you drove some young un home and they didn't have the money to pay the fare, then you would negotiate. You couldn't just take something off them. You negotiated something of value of theirs that you could take, then put up at the central office, and then they could then the following day, or at least that was the theory, the following day come and you left a receipt with their belongings, and
Genius.
then when they then paid their bill, they got their belongings. And we always went for the mobile phone because you knew then without a shadow of a doubt they would come the following day. And but it was very, very, very difficult to get them to give up their mobile phones because they thought they were going to die without them. It was like basically ripping a newborn child out of their arms.
I've,
And I had driver's licenses up there that they never came to get the license. They just left their driver's license up at the central office at the taxi office, and then like a new license costs quite a lot of money. It costs you about $200-300 to
was
sort of go.
there
You
a
have to get a
lot
medic.
of time left on that license, or was it
Yeah,
nearly expired?
no. A driver's license here goes from when you're 18 till you're 70. But they just, I don't know why they never came to collect their licenses. I don't know. I had 3 of them sitting up there, and but a mobile phone, boom, they were there the following morning. And
What about the 70-year-olds? You get to 70, are you expected to stop driving or have to
well, no,
apply
then you
more
have to
frequently for
no, then you have to
licenses?
take a yearly test for your medical condition and stuff like dementia.
Have to take a yearly dementia test
Yeah, but a lot of them they can get around the test apparently, somehow.
because they
But
don't have dementia.
well, no, there has been cases where people have managed to sort of get an extension on their license, even though they have been
Dementia.
reasonably dement, and that's obviously a very dangerous a dangerous thing.
Absolutely, but I know I spoke to my driving instructor about this, and he said if they were to try and make a mandatory retest in this country, the elderly would be up in arms. I can sort of believe it because, you've already passed your driving test once. Why should you, if you haven't been in any way anything other than a remarkably good driver, should you have to take the test again? Someone was
Well,
supposed
actually,
to
no. I mean,
answer.
my my driver's license, initially lasts for 20 years or more, but at certain age, yeah, they start requiring to take exams more often. My father got removed his driver's license when he was 70, in his early 70s, and it was okay because his reflex, he wasn't good enough to drive, so it was actually dangerous for him to drive. Unfortunately, it was really painful for him, but it was the right thing to do. And it's not the same when you are 30, 40 than when you are starting, I don't know, at 70 or those kind of ages where you have exams on a yearly basis here in Uruguay to get your license renewed.
Yes, the thing is, the British, particularly the English, are very kind of protective over things, like their right to take back control or their
Is that where
desire
the Americans? Is that where
to.
the Americans got it from?
I would almost guarantee it. All the English's fault.
Now
Not
we've
taking
had.
that,
I
not
mean,
taking that bait either.
no, I've had situations. I mean, obviously, in my capacity as a taxi driver, I drove many, many hours every day for many, many years, and
20?
yeah, around that. And so you see an awful lot of different things on the road, and people, when they get to a certain age in their lives, things go wrong. I mean, I've seen a couple of occasions old people driving the wrong way down a motorway, and everyone's bipping their horn and waving and whatever, and they're just staring straight ahead, and it's very dangerous.
At
It's
what
easy to.
speed? How fast
Oh,
were they going the wrong
oh,
way down those roads?
that'd be around 130 kilometers an hour. That's around, I don't know, 80 miles an hour or whatever.
That's surely too fast to be driving. Though I know in
Well, but
Germany
that's
on
the speed.
the
That's a speed limit on the
autobahn,
motorway. But that's a speed limit on the motorway, and so they
down
believe
six
that
fast.
but it's easy to get confused.
Absolutely, I
And
get confused.
and so it's a difficult one, Kay, because I mean I'm getting up towards that kind of age myself. So what is the solution? Do you say everybody once they reach a certain age should have their the right to drive a vehicle? I mean, I think in the future it's not going to be a biggie anyway because most cars will be self-driving, so you won't really need to have a license, will you?
I mean, I wonder how long everyone in here thinks we're likely to wait for the advent of the self-driving car and
Well, it's
how
already
long it'll
here.
take.
It's already here. There's quite a few various. The last taxi I had was a big Mercedes E-Class, and that could drive itself.
It drove itself, not like
Yeah,
cruise
it could.
control or something.
It could drive itself, but the law says you have to be there in the car holding the steering wheel. But it had a
So you have
radar
to be
system,
driving essentially.
Yeah, it's
Well,
amazing.
no,
Honestly,
you
it's
just
a very good.
it had a radar system all the way around the car, so it slowed down. If the car in front of it slowed down, it kept a certain distance. It wouldn't overtake if you hadn't looked properly in your blind spot. And so it basically drove itself, and you just sat there and held the
How did
the
it
steering
know
wheel.
if you haven't? Did you have to really make a meal of checking your blind spot like you do in a
Well,
driving
no,
exam?
you didn't have to make a meal of it. It didn't know whether you did or not. But if you made the mistake of not doing it and wanted to move out and over, in other words, you turned off the autopilot and took control and decided, okay, I don't want to be driving behind this old person any longer. I'm going to
Yeah.
pass. And you tried to drive out. If there was a car coming and you'd missed a car coming in your blind spot, it would stop you from. It's a very strange sensation. I tried it once. It would stop you from moving out. So
It
so
saved your
those
life.
no,
No.
Stopped you from
I,
Car.
pulling out in front of a.
no, it
Yeah.
didn't stop. It would
It be-
in a scenario where you had not seen somebody in your blind spot. Yes, it would save your life and probably theirs. Um,
my car does that. It has sensors all around it. So when someone's getting close to the side or they're in my blind spot, or if I turn on my signal and I'm going to change lane and there's lanes and there's someone that's coming up fast to the side, it starts
uh,
beeping at me.
Yeah, make an itchy beeping noise.
well,
Yeah.
that car I had it will actually physically stop you from moving out if that car if
Hmm.
it if it knew that car was coming.
I
So
never tested it, Piers. You
yeah,
did.
well, I did too. I mean, I'm a very. My father always said the trouble with me in the car was I was always pushing buttons and stuff, and so I had to test it out, and I did, and it worked perfectly, obviously. So those cars are already here, Kay, and I mean if you look at Tesla, quite a few of their models are self-driving too. So it's a matter of time, it'll be,
Mine
so you,
itself if you get too close to the car in front,
oh,
or
yeah, same thing.
close to anything, it'll break.
Does it, if you're on the motorway, can you program it to go the same speed as the car in front of you? And if that car slows down, you slow down. If that car speeds up, you speed up.
No,
Can you?
I'm usually too busy speeding up most of the time
Yeah,
myself.
typical woman. Yeah, typical bloody woman. But they can. The one I had could do all sorts of bloody things. It was like a bloody. The guy who owned the car, I said to him, "What do you need all that shit for?" Because it costs a lot of money to have all these extra things. But he was a funny guy like that. He sort of liked to show off about all the stuff he had in the car and Wi-Fi and everything. And I said to him, we never use it. He said, "Oh, sometimes you get businessmen that want to use Wi-Fi on the way to the airport and whatnot." I never tried that. The only time I ever tried anyone who wanted to use Wi-Fi was a drunken Greenlander. He wanted to use it, and but yeah, they're basically it's not in the too far distant future, and most cars will be like that. So then you won't have to worry about having a driver's license, will you? Because all the cars will be you'll just be sitting there, and it'll bring you to wherever you want to go, and we'll all subscribe to some, what would be
Just
known as Eurocar or Avis or whatever, some big company that have thousands and
beats
thousands of these cars, and then you just pay a certain fee every year to them, and when
But
you need a car,
Piers, but
you you
Piers,
you
what
call and get
about
one, and then it brings you to where you want to go and lets you off. Bob's your uncle.
it? Sounds fairly simple and hugely beneficial. However, I'm just thinking, would you not, as the car company, the Tesla or whoever, need to cover your ass. The reason that you've got to be in the car and holding the wheel, and you have to have your seatbelt on.
Of course,
That's
the car
Now,
will
the
be
law.
stopped
yeah,
without your seatbelt on. The car
you
won't
have to
stop.
have your seatbelts on now.
Yes, the
Um,
law here too.
and every seatbelt, let's put it this way: if there's 3 people on the back seat and 2 up front, there are 3 seatbelts in the back, and there are 2 up front. So, if there's 5 people in the car, everyone has to wear a seatbelt. If there's
Yeah,
a
it's got
child in the car,
sensors in the
then there has to be special. You have to have special kiddie seat. This particular car was really innovative. The 2 outside back seats, you could just click on the bottom of them, and a little kiddie seat popped up, which was
Wow.
really really cool. So you didn't have to bugger around with them bloody ones that you can get where you have to have it in the back in the boot, which is always in the bloody way. So that was a really cool car.
Were you someone, I suppose, as a taxi driver, kind of requires you to have boot space for, I don't know, maybe someone would have a load of luggage, for example?
Well, yeah, I
And
mean,
you
obviously
weren't
there's a
one of the
limit.
dickheads, were you, that charged people to put something in your boot?
No, you don't charge people to put stuff in your boot.
Yeah, because you're not a dickhead.
Well, no, I mean, you're not allowed to do that here. You
Oh, that's
charge
good.
people. You can charge people for taking their bicycle with them. You can charge
Even if
them. I
it's
think
in the boot.
well, no, you don't put bicycles in the boot, darling. You put them on a bicycle rack that you
What if it's a
have to
foldable
then.
bicycle? You're not allowed to charge for that?
No.
Hey!
Anything you put in the boot of your car is luggage, so it's not something that you charge money for. But sometimes you'll get people who will come along with, 2 people, and they'll have about 5 great big suitcases. But then we'd also have taxis where it would be like an 8-person taxi. Like a big sort of van, Mercedes van or whatnot, and then we'd call them, and because obviously they could accommodate that amount of luggage, whereas not your normal estate car can't. If you've got 2-3 people and a large amount of luggage, then you can't have. I've seen some guys trying to get trying to get stuff. Then normally that'd be sort of new taxi drivers that can't sort of don't really think about the amount of luggage until they're trying to get it into the back of the car, and then they realise that they can't get it in there, and then we, call a bigger vehicle to transport the people to wherever they're going. But no, but you can charge. I think it's what was it, £1 or something like that for putting somebody's bicycle on the back of the car. I normally used to forget about that anyway. I never used to really charging people extra. I'd rather get a
Well,
tip.
you got to pay for the bike rack, because they probably aren't going to just happen to have one for your
Well, yeah, you have to have a
model of
bicycle rack.
car.
You have to have a bicycle rack.
Is it the law?
Yeah. And you have to realise in Denmark, it's one of the countries in the world where, per capita, probably more people cycle than anywhere else apart from Holland. And so there's an awful lot of
Amsterdam.
people. A lot of people have their bicycles with them, and they will maybe, for example, ride into the city in the beginning of the evening, and then they might want to, if it starts raining or whatever, or they just can't be bothered cycling home. They want to bring their bicycle with them, and so you have to have a bicycle rack, which is easy enough. You've got your towing hitch on the back, and you just whip it out and put it on, click it open, stick the bike on, secure it with with sort of a wire thing, and then Bob's your uncle, off you go. You know,
Yes, well,
no
I
biggie.
can appreciate that it's not maybe necessarily I remember to charge people for, because I know it's a bit of a faff, like putting it on the back of your car if it's anything like the one I
Well,
bought from
the way it was
Halfords years ago.
explained to me, the way it was explained to me in the beginning was that if you, I don't know, if some oil from the chain or whatever got onto your nice clean taxi shirt, then you'd have the expense of having to get a new one or whatever. It's something to do
Dry
with that,
cleaning.
and that's, well, no, if you get oil on you, that's it. The shirt's, that's done. You can't get that out, and so you'd have to get another shirt or whatever the bloody hell, and so that's how it was explained to me originally. But I mean, I knew guys who, you know, you would quite often, if were doing a day shift, you'd get sort of old ladies, old guys who are on a normal pension, and they already had the expense of having to pay for a taxi to and from the shop, plus having to buy their groceries. And it would often happen where you drive an old person home and they'd say, "Oh, geez, can you do me the favor and carry the shopping up to the door for me?" And I always used to say, "Yeah, no worries." And I knew a lot of fellas that would charge them, 20, 30, 40 kroner, which is a lot of money. And I used to sort of say to them, and they'd say, you either give me, this money, or bugger you, you can do it yourself. And, it just seemed really heartless to me. And I used to sort of try and explain to them that if you help somebody in need, the feeling that you get inside, you can't buy for money. And, 40 bloody quid. And on top of that, one of these days, you're going to be old and you might need a bit of help. And, what about then
Karma's a
if every,
bitch.
well, that, so, I just didn't, I said I'd rather, I mean, you get some guys too who, if they got a trip at a bar or something like that, and you're then expected to go in and say to the customer, I'm outside waiting for you. A lot of the guys would start there. You were allowed to do it. You could start your taximeter when you got to the address, and I never used to do that. And but I used to get a lot of tips for not doing it. So I got money on the other end anyway, because customer would come out, get in the car, look at the meter and see, okay, this guy hasn't started his meter before he came in. And so at the end of the trip, you'd probably get the equivalent in your pocket, So, that was just my style. And, but, you can, helping people is a big part of being a taxi driver, in my opinion. And, but it's all over
Being
to
a
me
good
now.
one, I'd say, because being a taxi driver, well, technically anyone can be a taxi
Well,
driver.
that's it.
People seem to, a lot of the time, give people who are being jerks.
Well, I think if we wanted to rephrase that, you could say anyone can drive a taxi. Not everyone is a taxi driver, and
I, I, I
that's
don't know.
that's the difference.
2016, I had a car accident. I don't know. I saved my life because of a half of a second. The accident should have been half of a second after or before. The car that was a taxi would have hit me from the front part. I wouldn't be here probably. The car actually ended up with the top of the roof on the road. He didn't respect red. I mean, a green light that I had, and that person was under the influence of marijuana. He tested positive for marijuana. He was working, and yeah, then I realized that actually here, driving a taxi is probably one of the few opportunities people that have been in prison actually have access to in the job market, because they pay is extremely low and they don't require much background checks or anything. So unfortunately, they hire people that are might have those kind of problems. And wow, the responsibility if you are driving a car, not only your life, the life of others, should be taken more seriously.
That's
And
it. I mean, that is exactly it, my friend. But here, if you've got any kind of criminal record, you cannot drive a taxi, and a lot of other things you can't do. You have to have, for example, in a couple of weeks' time, I'll be starting to work at this school with these kids, and they require an attest, or as they call it here, from the police to say, okay, this guy's not, got no criminal record and he has never been buggering around with little kids or nothing like that. But every year, when I was a taxi driver, every single year, you had to allow the company to check with the police that you didn't have any sort of stuff on your record. So if you've got a criminal record, you can't drive a taxi here. But yeah, you're exactly right. When people get into my car, they're like, I'm responsible for their well-being. And we did have a period where I noticed a lot. I don't say if it was a lot, but at least once every weekend for a while, I'd be getting young'uns getting in the car going into the city, and they'd ask me if they could have some lines of cocaine in the car. And I'd say, no, you can't be doing that in here. And they'd say, oh, well, what if we give you a line too? I said, no, I don't want any bloody cocaine. I'm driving a car. And they quite often said, well, there are other your drivers that do that. So we sort of, as a company, we became aware of the fact that some of our drivers were taking, and they weren't hard to find either, cocaine and amphetamine and God knows whatever else. And these would be guys who would start work at 2:00 on a Friday afternoon and basically drive straight through until 10:00 on a Sunday night. So it was pretty bloody obvious who they were. So what we did was we started doing spot checks where you could take spit from them and very quickly see if they had any form of illegal narcotics in their system. And we caught 3 or 4 of them. The last guy, he got basically got pretty violent actually, because he wouldn't give the test. And he's just said, I'm not doing it. And I said, listen, we've all got to do it. I said, I've got to do it. What, if I've got to do it, what,
of course,
But
and
he
I tell
wouldn't.
you, in my case, that accident, when that happened, I can still remember the airbags exploding, and I can still see in a small motion all the airbags gas that was it was all in the slow motion. And then I thought, okay, I'm alive, I'm okay. So I went up in the car, and I was very concerned about the taxi driver, and if he was somebody that he was driving, or he was alone. And that person get out of the car, and he was starting saying, "Oh, it was your fault. You didn't respect the light." And I didn't give a fuck about whose fault was it. I just wanted to make sure if everybody was okay. At that point, I mean, it didn't matter, but he was completely aggressive. Then the police came, and I have to say, the police did a great job. They really know, the behavior of these people, and they came to me and they told me, don't talk to him, don't talk to him. And then they found marijuana in his car. They made a drug test that he was refusing to do it, but by law we have all to do the spirometry to test zero for alcohol and any other drugs. And he wasn't refusing, but he was very aggressive.
Yeah. Well, we tested a lot of our drivers, and it kind of, ended up immediately. Then, I mean, if with our company, if somebody called in and said, "Oh, I've just driven home with one of your drivers, and I could smell alcohol on his breath," you'd be called up to the office, and if we then could smell alcohol on you, that you were immediately dismissed immediately, and your log-on card, you needed a card to log on to the computer in the car, and that would be blocked, so you couldn't, there's no way you could sort of go out and get in another taxi and drive around. But yeah, we caught about five of them, and then it kind of stopped. But I'm pretty certain that that if you go into the city here in Aarhus and get into some of the taxis that are in there, that probably there's a good chance that the guy in the car is probably more under the influence than you are, which is crazy, and they drive like maniacs. But there's a lot of the lads here, they think it's part of being a taxi driver, that you drive like a bloody lunatic. And of course it isn't. You're a professional driver, you don't want to frighten the shit out of your customers. And sometimes that happens. People can produce receipts where if you look at the receipt, all the information is on that seat, where the trip started, who's driving the car, etc., how long the distance is, and how long the trip took. And I mean, this guy, he drove from the center of the city around 20 kilometers outside the city, and it took about 12 and a half minutes. So you can imagine how fast this guy was driving. And he frightened the shit out of these 4 young people, and he was dismissed. And a couple of days later, I was down at the train station. The lads were laughing. They said, "That's not the record. It was 10 minutes or something like that." And, as I said, anyone can drive a taxi, but not everyone's a taxi driver. It's as simple as that. And, them days are over for me now. I'm done and over with it. So I'm just a normal civilian now. I'm just like all the rest of you. There's nothing special about me anymore. I'm just a normal Joe.
No, there's nothing special about you any less either, Pierce.
Well, no, I used to, when I was part of the elite taxi driving force, I felt special. I wasn't a civilian like the rest of everybody else, but now I'm just a
You'll
normal
never be
Joe.
like the rest of everybody else, Pierce.
I'm just
You're
a normal
still special.
Joe, and I forget my
You'll never
telephone
be
all
a
the time.
normal Joe.
Yeah, we're going
Never,
to do
ever.
Okay, we need to do an intervention as co-hosts, don't we? We need to make Pierce feel like he's not just an ordinary person. Let's sing him a song. What do you think?
What song were you thinking?
Well, let's sing one of the songs from the Full Monty. Since Alberto's over there watching it by himself, I'm wondering if they've got to the striptease scenes yet. What do you think?
Oh, I thought I could hear him when sounded like he was enjoying the striptease bits.
Do you have any requests, Pierce?
Yeah, you could do Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen. That would be pretty cool.
Okay, you asked for it. You got it. Okay,
It's kind of a bit long, and I get it wrong, and I'm all like,
Yeah, have you got any? Have you
Alberto.
got any Pavarotti? That would be pretty cool. Some Pavarotti to put me to sleep.
You singing Nessun Dorma? Nessun Dorma. Oh no, the host is having connection issues. Alberto,
Goodness.
don't have connection issues.
Oh,
Come
good.
back, stop
Oh,
watching the Full Monty and sort it out.
my
What's the
goodness.
full Monty?
It's a
Oh,
film with, what's
oh,
his name? That guy who
Is
played,
that Mel Brooks one?
it's the guy with the
I
full
don't
Monty.
believe so. It's Robert something, but not Robert Lindsay. That's someone else, I think. He played the guy out of Train Spotting, the really maniacal one that Begbie. He played Begbie in Train Spotting, and his
The
name is
Scottish guy.
Robert Paulson. His name isn't Robert Paulson.
What's Train Spotting?
That's a film, I think, back
I've seen it.
from
But
1996.
so what's this full Monty about?
About some unemployed men from Sheffield who have their own lives and difficulties, but then the one who played Begbie comes up with a plan. They all just take their clothes off